Okay, Paul here, and today we have another customer's radio on the bench. This one's a Zenith console tone, CONSOL hyphen TONE, console tone, and it's a model 6D-614, and it has a problem with the tuning. Probably needs to be restrung, and we're gonna see what else it needs. It's in a nice shiny black case. I'm thinking it was spray painted nice and shiny black. The customer has a nickname for this one. He calls it Darth Vader, which is appropriate. So we're gonna look at it. Since I've got to do the dial string, it has to come out of the case. So we might as well go ahead and work on that first. There's the model number on the back, and it has a switch for an external antenna, as well as the internal antenna that's in there, which we'll see in a minute. So let me see if we can get these knobs off without too much of an issue. Tight. That one came off. Get another container here. Okay. And this one. You got to be careful taking off knobs because you don't want to break them. If they don't start moving easy, there is a trick you can do. You could take a piece of cloth and wrap it around behind the knob, and then pull it up and twist it and pull it straight up, and usually that'll get them off. But then we got this one. It has two screws in the back, in the bottom rather, that hold the back in. And since the back is pretty close to flush with the backlight case, we don't have to worry about it dropping when we take the screws out. So we'll just go ahead and take the screws out. And they should be 1/4-inch screws. A 1/4-inch bit here. There we go. And still getting used to my camera being overhead, so I'm trying to work on speaking louder so that you can hear me in the audio, because I have a habit of mumbling. It's one of my weak points. Put me in front of a group and I don't shut up, but put me by myself and I mumble. Anyway, okay, now let's see what's holding this in. Obviously, oh, there we go. Hasn't been out of the case in a while. Let me very gently take the cover off, and there we have it. And the cabinet needs a little bit of cleaning, which you probably can't see in there. But we will take care of that before we reassemble it. Move that out of the way. And here's the dial string here, just sticking up. The label's in pretty bad shape, so we got to be really careful with that. And we take a look at it. The speaker has a little bit of damage. Got a crack there, spot there, crack there, hole there, a little hole here. I don't see any other problems with it. Let's see if we can move this over here. Oh, that spring's all stretched out. Somebody tried to fix that, and of course that didn't work. Let's see how that goes. No. Almost made it. Now, definitely get some problems. And I got a spring sticking out here too, on that dial string. So that's going to have to be redone, but this one is really bad. That's all messed up. And I don't know what happened there. Looks like they just hooked it on here. And they got it wrapped around that thing. Wow. Okay, we're going to have fun restringing this one. Let's take a look at the rest of the unit. Lift it up. And it's a 6-tube, All-American 6, instead of All-American 5. And it has 14s. Wow. 14Q7 is a 14A7. Don't know what these are. 14R7. So we're going to have to pull up a schematic on this, try to find it. That's an interesting way to do the antenna. Let's see if I can tilt it up and show you a little better. See, it wraps all the way around. And it's got a coil inside, a small coil inside. I don't know if you can see that in there. So it's actually got 2 coils for the antenna, one on the outside and a round circular one on the inside. And somebody's been working on this, but that looks okay. That don't look like it's been soldered, but I'm assuming it's under that cloth. Capacitor, this wheel's rubbing on the back of the plate here. See it here? It's rubbing right on the back of this plate. So the shaft is twisted, and that's why this is not turning freely, because that's rubbing, but we can move that. So what I'm going to do to protect this cardboard and this dial, which is not in the greatest shape, and I know I need to be doing that at the swing, I'm going to go ahead and take the dial light out and set it somewhere and take this plate off. And it has Phillips screws, amazing. So we're looking at either those screws have been changed. Like I said, somebody's been in here working on it. Well, this unit is newer than I would have thought, but I'm thinking that the screws have probably been changed, because they shouldn't be Phillips screws. Bolt in the back. You see these screws back here, slotted screws, that would have been more period related. So somebody put those in. Okay, oh, there's the other dial light. It has 2 dial lights, so we just set them down. And this should, is that attached to the whole thing, speaker and all? That's not good. I was thinking that would come off there. Oh, I see. It will. It's got two little bolts over it to the speaker. Self-threading bolts. Interesting. Okay. That takes that off. Unfortunately, the spindle and all comes off with it, but that's okay for right now, because we got to work on this. So, let's see what we got here. Okay, that's tied to that. This is going to be a fun one. can't believe that that would be original. Let me see what we got here. I can't believe that this would be an original way of doing this string, so I'm going to just take this string off. It only goes around one time. Okay, and that's the way that went. And it's wrapped around twice. However, it's also twisted across the bottom of the unit there. Just need to undo one side. And I think this is the side worth undoing. And there we go. Yeah. I can get that out of there. Okay. I don't know if that'll fit through there. Yeah, it will. Okay. Let's set that aside. Okay. We got a couple problems here. This speaker is really short. I don't know if I have a speaker that size, but I may have to redo this speaker and strengthen it up because it's really, really dry rotted. Okay. Other than that, we have a wire here that's totally corroded going down into the bottom, and see here where it goes through the chassis, it's about ready to short out to the chassis there, so I'll have to replace this wire with another wire. See how it's just falling apart, the insulation. Okay. Anyway, this, let's see if we can get that back where it should be for now. It won't stay there, but that's wrong. That's definitely wrong there. That's just too much. Too much there. We'll fix that. Okay. That's the way that was. So I'm just going to leave this here, and we're going to see what we got. What else we got going on with this radio? Definitely needs speaker work. Needs that wire replaced. All of these wires are doing the same thing. See how they split? They're probably okay. Has dog bone capacitors, resistors. Somebody has changed their capacitor there. And I'm sure whoever put this in should have checked that electrolytic. Anyway, that's not why it's here. This is the electrolytic here, and it's the original Zenith. It's a 20 microfarad at 150 volts, and another 20 looks like might be a 23. No, it's a 20. Another 20 at 150. We got a U.S. patent number there, which we can date the age of the radio, which we'll find anyway from the schematic. And that's the radio. Okay, I'm continuing to work on the Zenith, and I found out some other issues with the string. Basically, I loosened this to take it off, and when I did, look at the bushings in there. They are totally deteriorated. This one's sticking up and deteriorated. That one's smushed down, which is got this tuning capacitor cocked that way, which explains why the string was, one, originally having problems and being loose, and two, the disc was rubbing on the front plate, the back of the dial plate, because this is twisted forward. You can see the bushing in the back there, and the other side is deteriorated. And it's right there. And so it's deteriorated more on the front. So the tuning capacitor needs to be reset. It needs to be taken out, new bushings put in there, and reset. So I'll have to find bushings for it and I don't know if there was any other damage done by that, but anyway, this needs to be reset. I need to find how this spring goes. This just doesn't look right to me, that the spring would be up over the wheel like they had it. There's a hook here, which could be, you know, that could be. I mean, it's got that bend in it, so it's hard to do and hold the phone. But it has that bend in it, which follows the curve, the way the string goes. But that just seems really strange to me, especially with this loop sticking way up. Seems more like this would have connected on this one and pulled that way, but I'm not sure. I can't find a string diagram, so I'm going to keep looking, but I need to figure that one out. Otherwise, I got to redo it. The spring that was on the dial and the speaker section, the disc in the front, was totally broken and stretched out. I do have a couple springs that are new. I might be able to use one of those, but the tension on these is a lot, it's a lot stronger than the tension on this original spring, which is like really thin. So, I don't know, but I'm going to try to get that going. Again, the speaker cone is totally deteriorated. You can see the cracking and the discoloration and the hole there, but it's just really bad. Just playing it cracked all that up, and I didn't have the volume up. No, I didn't crack all of that. Some of that was already there, like those are old. They may have gotten vibrated and gotten a little more intense. The paper itself, you can't really tell there. I can't seem to focus on that hole to show it to you, but it is very thin. The acid of the paper has totally disintegrated this paper. It's very, very thin. I'm just moving it, see how it separates, and you hear that, and I just barely touched it. So this is going to have to be redone. I don't know about putting a new speaker. That would be a lot of investment into this radio, which would not justify that unless we put in, unless we could get one at a really good price, a used one that's in good shape. This radio is electrically, it's in really good shape. Has a slight distortion, the capacitors are old, but considering they're all original and even the electrolytic, plays good, but those capacitors will have to be replaced sooner or later. There is distortion from them, so they are leaky. But the sensitivity of the radio is good because it's a 6-tube radio. It has an RF amplifier as well as the normal All-American 5 tubes. So it's an All-American 6. And it plays good. The wires, they really got some issues. I mean, this one's really cracked. Let me get my light shining back there. And you can see where it goes down into the board there. It's through the chassis. It's actually split and falling apart. And if I touch it, insulation just falls off. So that's kind of short. But that's just the antenna. All the insulation came off of it up here. And that's just the antenna wire. That'll make distortion. And if it shorts out to the chassis, it'll actually just not get any radio stations until it's separated, but that's minor. Changing that wire is minor. Let me look back at the bottom here. You see how this wire here, I don't know if you can see it there, it's splitting right there where my fingernail is, but it's still got some strength. Now this one is splitting there, going to this coil, and I'd rather not mess with that. Actually, it goes to the bottom of the tuning capacitor and to this coil. And I'm not messing that area too much, but if it needs to be changed. The rest of the wires look okay, with the exception of the one that somebody burnt when they put this capacitor in. I found the schematic, and I haven't looked to see if that capacitor is correct, but I assume it is. And there's some kind of label in there with somebody's initials, probably the person that worked on it last. That might have been quite a while back, but this, not last, but previous. This is recent. That's a recent capacitor. But it's playing fine. So what I got to do is get in there somehow and unbolt that tuning capacitor, get it out of there. And you can see it's quite tight in there. It looks like the rivets. See the bushing there in the bottom, under where that red wire is looped? It looks like that's a metal ring with like a, almost like a cotter pin coming down from the top and spread open over that metal ring where the bushing goes. And all three of them are the same. You can see a little bit better shot on that one there. Get the light in there. See it there? And it's like a brass ring at the bottom of the bushing, and then like that cotter pin is like separated on it. Get my camera to focus. It's not going to focus in there very well. Yeah, that's a little better. And that one there is the same thing. However, they actually soldered wires to those brass rings to one side of the cotter pin. They did it on this one and on that one. So they got to be unsoldered. I see why the guy who worked on the radio last did not mess with it. So that's where we are with this. You can see a couple of the capacitors are a little bit cooked. This one here. The wax kind of just melted, but that could be where they heated it up and melted this wire. They're all original. Other than that, they're all original capacitors. Those are Zenith, and this one is, looks like they're all Zenith, yeah. So they had their own capacitors. That's interesting. Yeah, they're all Zeniths. And this one there. And the resistors, I haven't checked anything. These are Loctol tubes. And that's the, these 14s. These are Loctol tubes. They got a thin pins and a center pin that goes down into them, and they actually soldered to the center pins. And there's 4 of those. And then these two, the rectifier and the amp, are octal tubes, normal octal tubes. So it's not a bad radio. It actually is a pretty good radio. They made quite a bit of these. They made a white one, and then this was a brown one originally. And but they also made a lot of different versions of this particular radio. Exact same case, but with different wording. Dial was the same. So I'm going to try to scroll through some of the documents on some of the ones that are like this one and see if I can find a diagram for the string. And getting these bushings, basically I just need to get this straightened up, put new bushings in here. This is isolated from the chassis, and that's why it has these bushings in there. That may be I don't know, it could be cost prohibitive to do that, to go through all the trouble of doing that. So I need to check with the owner and see what he wants to do about that. But that's a big part of the problem. But if I can't get the spring fixed and get the string going correctly, then straightening that out is really not critical. It isn't going to get any worse. We could, I don't know. I'll have to figure that one out a little bit more. The speaker just needs to be reconed. I could try repairing all the cracks, but they're just going to pop up cracks in other places constantly because it's just shot. The speaker's gone. Apparently it was put in a hot, dry place. Probably a damp place early on in its life, and then a hot, dry place like a garage or something where it sat in the excessive heat, probably facing the sun, because that looks like sun damage to me, but I can't tell for sure. But either way, it was hot and dry, and that paper just disintegrated from it. Probably also what led to the bushing deterioration. Same thing, hot and dry. You can see how blistered they are. So this thing has been exposed to some serious heat. Of course, with a black case, it's going to absorb sunlight, or even a brown case, the original backlight color, if it was facing the sun. But, and that really does look like a new dial plate on here. That's nice and clear and clean and shiny. So I have a feeling that somebody, and it's soft, which is not normal for a vintage plastic. So I think I'm 100% sure this has been changed. This was yellowed, and the reason it was spray painted black is no doubt the case had a lot of scarring and discoloration. So again, I think it was like in a garage or in a window or in somewhere where it was just soaking up a lot of sun and facing the sun. And you can see the contrast between the dial paper and the case. So again, paint flaking off of the dial indicator here. Looks like it's been bent a few times. It's been exposed to some things. However, that's turning okay. A little bit of oil will make it turn better, but it's turning okay. If we go to the bottom of the case, there was originally a tube layout here, but there was also should have been some embossed text here with a model number and a make and all of that, and I don't see any of that. So either it was just covered over with the paint, or this particular cabinet didn't have that, and a lot of the others do. But when I say they made a lot of these, there's different variations. This is a console tone. There's some that say Zenith console tone, and they don't say anything up here. This one says console tone, and it says Zenith up here on the dial. Actually, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't say Zenith on the dial, but there are some that say Zenith right above the indicator there in big letters. Oh, yes, it does. I'm blind. It says it right there behind the pointer, Zenith. And then there were some that said Zenith here instead of console tone. But different versions of the same case, a little bit shaped different, a couple of them. They made a lot of the radios. The chassis are all the same. So it might be possible to get a parts unit that I could pull the speaker off of. I could put new bushings on that anyway, but and the string assembly. That might be possible. something to think about. But I'm going to try to find a diagram for an alternate one and see if I can find any one of them that has the string assembly. And also, I'm going to try to use the string I have. Like I said, I don't know if that spring is supposed to be like that. It could be that this spring, now that I think about it, went more like that and came out that side there. That would make more sense. Wrap around here and come back in through the other side here, come around this shaft and connect here. That is possible, but the way they had it connected was not correct. And so it makes it difficult. Anyway, I'm going to continue. I just wanted to give an update and go over the radio a little bit more. Thank you. Okay, I'm getting ready to recap this Zenith, and having a little issue here with the space in this area to recap this electrolytic. The electrolytic is 220s, and these, but they're floating from the chassis on this unit, and they're put in with these slide-on connectors, but they've been soldered onto the terminal, so the wires would have to be cut. And what I have to do is get these cans in here. Need these two cans in here, which would take the place of one of those 20s. They're both 20s, and I've got two 10s here, so that'll give me 20. And then I've got a 22, which I can use on the front end. I mean, going to the, yeah, I would put this on the line side, which comes, which is this side, which goes to the rectifier tube. So I would put them on this wire here, these two wires. This one goes to one of the IF cans, and that goes to the rectifier. And if I put the 22 there, that'll do some filtering, and then the second one I can put here, which will give me additional filtering. The grounds don't matter. I can move the grounds wherever I need to move the grounds. Could actually put a terminal here or tie strip here, but there's just not a lot of room for these capacitors under this chassis. It's just so congested. I can't move them over there because that's the input side. So they have to be over here in the power supply side so they don't create noise over there in the amplifier oscillator side. So I don't want them in the front end, but I do want them down here by the rectifier. Now once I get this capacitor out of the way, that would definitely give me some more room. Maybe I could, well, one, I could actually take these two here and just float it between these two over here on the side. There's a screw comes in through here, but I think I can get over here on the side right down here and be safe because the screw only goes that deep. And I could do that. The grounds, I can just leave them right where they are. I don't even need to take them off the can. I can just connect to the can, but I got to get the other sides off, the anodes of the capacitor, because I can't jump over them. So I'm thinking I'll take this up out of my way temporarily, just take the ground side off, because I know it goes to ground, and then redo these wires and get this in there. Once I got that done, then it's just a matter of recapping the rest, and that's, though they're all over the place. it won't be so bad. And I'll be replacing them with smaller caps so it'll get less and less congested as I go. That's a strange connection there. Just floating up in the air like that, but it is what it is. Got a resistor over a cap here and got a dog bone in there tied to a cap leg. Just some weird connections. Don't know why they have a dog bone in there, but they do. Somebody replaced this 0.1 microfarad, 0.01, and they might have put that dog bone in because I don't see nothing but carbon resistors in here. This is not old enough to have all dog bones, unless somebody changed all the resistors, but I don't think so. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 capacitors, not counting the electrolytics, to replace. I don't see any that I missed. And I don't know if there's any on the top. I don't think so. No. Nope, just the bottom. So 13 electrolytic capacitors. Wax capacitors need to be replaced. And then the 2 electrolytics in this can. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to work on that and then continue the video. They'll be tied in from here to here with a wire tie or something to hold them in place. That's where these will go. After I replace those damaged 2 wires, one going there, one going to this tube socket over here. Okay, this is Paul, and I went ahead and recapped this Philco radio that I've been working on and tuned the IF. I didn't tune the upper and lower frequency because I don't have the dial on it, but I tuned the IF so its sensitivity is good. And I'm doing a comparison with my solid state radio here. And I'm at the bottom of the dial on both radios. You can already hear something out of the Philco. You can almost hear it out of there. Not quite. But I have my outside antenna hooked to the Philco, so we will continue up the band. And you see how just a little vibration
very strong statement, and that's what this
makes a
whole
difference.
administration for the last 3 years
Okay,
has
here's
been.
my first
It's
station
not just rhetoric.
right there.
There's a record that has been amassed by this administration.
Now we'll find it here. And there it is there.
Are going to apply to any future Republican
Philco,
candidates.
solid state without the outside antenna, but the outside antenna is right over the radio. Okay, we'll continue with the Philco.
We were telling people, we made this prediction before the speech. It turns out only Fox News Channel carried.
Okay, that's a local station. Both radios will get that. Okay, so both radios get that. We'll continue with the Philco. They both get the same stations, pretty much. Okay, that's another station that Philco is getting. The volume's not very loud because These stations are far from me. Let's see if we can match it up. Okay, there they are. Match. I'm going to go back down with this one. Find that other station. Let's see if I can find that on the filter. But again, my understanding, if you're entirely right, correct me if I'm wrong, was that they came up with the power scheme. You can have a PSL, you can pay one $20 for finished vehicle, and a PSL with a one-time fee with the season rate. And they still can follow, no, it is a PSL, it's just a prorated PSL, but that person isn't locked in. That day is coming, a victory for those of you who are franchising like that. Hopefully we get some things actually in the building next to the order and get it and hand it to them. There it is. You may not be able to hear that. But they're on the same channel. Far, far away station. Go to the next one on solid state. There's some sideband mush. This tuner is affecting it. Oscillators can oscillate another radio. So now they're sharing that noise. Let's get another station. A lot of interference and stuff around here. You can see there's just not a lot of stations near me. Huawei Spanish station. Around 1200, 1100.
Pues uno hay que tener siempre cuidado, uno que es padre, ya se lo he dicho varias veces, que padre pues no le habla a sus hijos, ¿verdad? Pero
Like that. Okay, and continue with this solid state. And that one's far away. That ain't it.
If you find him guilty, if you accept your flight matters. And the truth matters.
They're interfering with each other. That's so funny. Okay. That's where the filter is now. So let me shut this one off. But you can hear the sensitivity.
That is made up of whole cloth, now even the
See that?
beginning.
Hardly moving.
On tape, a bone plate.
Nationally acclaimed destination retreat.
Vacuum Sirlicki sprayers here. No siree. Russia collusion.
Time, 1:30, Dulcimer Club.
More for the black community than most presidents. He has
That's
lowered
doing pretty good.
unemployment rate.